to help people change behaviors. I'll be the first to admit, as a change person, that behaviors are the hardest to change, right? And you probably know that too. Whether you're used to doing something a certain way, in your life, or even a personal change that you have to make. Well, my job here at Best Buy is to help people navigate through that. Through all this presentation, there are two words that I will be focusing on. That is, of course, our topic is navigating change and embracing culture within corporate America. And there are two words that I will be focusing on just to help put into context what I mean by navigating change and also embracing your culture within corporate America. Those two words are change and culture. Okay, so you will hear me use those two words very frequently as we go along. Now, next slide. Oh, I can use the clicker too. As I was researching this topic, I came across a really nice quote, and you realize that I am not going to be using the really formal, dictionary definition of these words, because I feel like sometimes we have to be very practical about what we really mean when we talk about these words, okay? So, I found this quote on a friend's Facebook page, and I told her that I would use it, so I'm not stealing from anybody. But it says, change is hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. Think about a personal experience that you have even gone through, or a personal life change that you had to make. The doctor says you need to check your diet. It's hard, especially when you're used to having your cheeseburgers and whatnots every day, right? Or the doctor says you need to start exercising for any health, for health reason. That's hard to change. Within change management, we have something we call the valley of despair. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But basically, when you go, we all have different ways we embrace change, right? On the change curve, some of us are like, let's go for it, right? When a new change is intro, when something new comes along, we're early adopters. We're like, you know what? I'm ready to move on. Bring it on. Some of us are like, you know what? Give me time. Let me go through this. Let me understand it. Let me know exactly what this means for me before I actually adapt to it. Some of us have resistance. We're like, you know what? This ain't going to work. Right from day one, we're just going to stop it. We're not going to adapt. It's good to have those people too, because they give me a job to do. Because my job is to ensure that those resistors, or those people that resist the change, I understand why they're resistant, and I can help them navigate through that change. But of course, when I talked about valley of despair, so when you go through that change, you get to the middle, and it's like, what in the world did I get myself into? Right? You just take a deep dive. But eventually things pick up, especially when you get used to it. You understand what it is. You're starting to think, this is not as bad as it is, or as it is, as it appears. So that kind of helps you as you climb up the change curve. And that is when change becomes gorgeous. The next word I said I will be using is culture. So again, I'm going to stay away from the dictionary formal definition of what culture is. But I thought this really depicts culture. And this is me when I talk about culture. Culture is the food I eat. Culture is how I dress. Culture is my manners. Culture is a way of life. Culture is the celebrations that I engage in, things that I celebrate, events that I celebrate. Culture is my language, is how I speak, is the language that I speak. To me, that is what culture is. That is my way of life. And that is what I embrace in every day. That is me. That is what I bring to work every day. That is who you talk to. It's me. That's my culture. Okay? So today I'm going to be speaking to you about embracing, navigating change and embracing your culture within corporate America. Now, before I get into that, I would like to give a bit about me. Now, this presentation is not about me at all. And I don't want to make it about me, but you would understand as we go along why I think it would help to put into context how I embraced my change, or how I embraced my culture and how I navigated through change within corporate America. So as you probably know by now, I'm originally from Ghana. Ghana is on the west coast of the African continent with about 28 million people, according to a World Bank report in 2016. I was born in Ghana. I was, of course, raised in Ghana. I studied journalism. I worked as a radio news presenter, radio news reporter, and a TV presenter. I loved my job. Then I migrated to the United States in 2000, in spring of 2000. I'm a mother of twins, and I brought them here today so they could actually see what mom is doing. So, that's a little bit about me. And as I indicated, I migrated to the United States in the spring of 2000. Next slide. Now my journey into corporate America. As I said earlier, I was a journalist. I loved my job. I enjoyed interviewing people like Ubed, right? Great personalities, celebrities. I loved television. I enjoyed what I did. And I wanted to continue to pursue that dream. So when I had the opportunity to migrate here to the United States, boy, who doesn't want that opportunity? I used to follow Christiana Amanpour. Many of you may know her, the CNN journalist, because I knew she was also an immigrant who moved to the United States, or who was born, she's Iranian. I loved what I did. And so I wanted to continue, so when I got the opportunity, I jumped at it, and I came to the United States. Of course, I wanted to be a journalist in the United States. But here's my cultural uniqueness. I'm a woman. I'm an immigrant. I'm Black. I had an accent.
Uh-huh.
And I lived in Minnesota. I just want that to sink in for like 5 seconds. Okay? So this is my cultural uniqueness. And I wanted to be a journalist. Think about it. And I lived in Minnesota. But reality set in when I came here. Because as much as I wanted to pursue that dream, and I wanted to be that journalist, that Christiana Amanpour on CNN or whatever that might be, I realized that even though I could have achieved that dream, it was going to take me a while. I watched TV. There was only one black woman on TV, Robin Robinson on Channel 9. She didn't have an accent. Okay? I had an accent, and I admit that. That's me. Remember I talked about culture? That's me. So I brought myself in. But I realized that it ain't gonna work, Judy. You have to think about the things that you need to do. You have to navigate through certain changes. So that is what started. I thought about it. I was determined. I wanted to do it, but I realized that I had to navigate through some really hard changes. So going back to the slide I talked about, changes hard at the beginning, it sure was hard. But this is how I navigated through my change. I realized I had to go to school. I had the experience of being a journalist, but I realized that I had to go back. So I went back to school. I was prepared to make some sacrifices, and I did make a ton of sacrifices, and you'll find out as we go along. I embraced my challenges, tons of them. I had an accent. I go places and people ask me, where are you from? Oh, how were you raised? What language do you speak? But I embraced that. And I used those, and I'll talk about it earlier, as teachable moments. Because I realized that